Howdy, 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 gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Why You Should Play. And today I'm going to discuss why you should play the index card role-playing game from Runehammer Games and Modiphius Entertainment. This is the Master Edition. This is the latest iteration of ICRPG. It's written by Hankerin for an Ale, whose real name is Bradish Gilhelm. This 400-page hardcover is available now. Carries an MSRP of $48.99. And I should point out, as I record this, there is a smoking deal going on over at Drive-Thru RPG, where you can get the soft cover and PDF together for $16.50. That is a sweet, sweet deal on a sweet, sweet role-playing game. Before I jump on in, do want to mention a few things. First off, this is not a review. I've already reviewed the Master Edition of ICRPG. So if you want all the nuts and bolts of what the mechanics are and everything that's contained in this book, by all means, I definitely recommend check out that review. I will say, I do highly recommend the Master Edition of ICRPG. Also, none of this is scripted. This is all off the cuff. I don't like to script my videos. So there's that. Keep that in mind. And as I take a peek through, I want to show you just how jam-packed with content this book is. But you'll probably find I'll be talking about things that have absolutely nothing to do with the pages you're looking at. So if you're not familiar with index card role-playing game, let me point out it is a rules-light, genreless role-playing system. Now I say genreless, but in this Master Edition, there are actually 5 settings for you to be able to use these mechanics, and 2 of them are really detailed. The fantasy and the science fiction settings have a lot of page space devoted to them. So there are 5 settings. So we've got the fantasy, the science fiction. We also have a Weird West. We've got a superhero setting. And then we have a prehistoric Ice Age setting. And all of these are very unique, very different. So one big selling point for ICRPG is just how easy the core mechanics are for people to wrap their heads around. This makes for a perfect role-playing game to introduce newcomers to the hobby. There's tons of content in here that's aimed at the game master. So we've got more than half the book devoted to the game master with tips, advice, setting information, all jam-packed inside. So the core mechanic is very easy. So like many role-playing games, we've got our traditional 6 attributes. So we've got our strength, our dexterity, our constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And unlike many role-playing games where you have a range of 3 to 18, here your players will have 6 points that they can break down into those attributes. So if a player wanted to have +1 in each of the attributes, they certainly could. But you can do whatever you want with those 6 points. And depending on your GM, they may even allow you to have negative modifiers in order to boost other attributes. So we've got that. And essentially, like a +2 is really good, +3 is fantastic. And we're going to utilize our traditional gaming dice. And our action resolution is based on a 20-sided die. So one of the interesting aspects of index card role-playing is that regardless of what the player characters might be doing, they're going to have a target number, which is kind of like their challenge rating for that location or that scene or that battle. And it doesn't matter. They could be in a room in a dungeon. They could be on a starship. They could be getting ready to have a duel on the streets of a ghost town in the Weird West. Doesn't matter. You've got a target number. And this number is visible to all the players. So they know what they need to roll to achieve success. And it's a nice way to kind of boost the tension in the adventure as well, to raise the stakes in the adventure. So what'll happen is the player will add whatever modifiers they have to their roll of a 20-sided die. So they might have modifiers based on their loot. They might have modifiers from their attributes. They could have other modifiers that come into play. Maybe they've got a power. Maybe they've got some sort of augmentation. A lot of it has to do with what genre you're playing in. Well, let's say it's fantasy, right? So maybe the player has a, I don't know, magic weapon of some sort. So what you're going to do is you're going to add your modifiers, you're going to roll your 20-sided die, and you're looking to meet or exceed that target number. Now, the game master has a little bit of leeway because they can make something easy or hard. So you would have the target number. If something's easy, you're going to subtract 3 from it. If something is hard, you're going to add 3 to it. So one thing that I really like about the target numbers and the easy and the hard is it actually leads your players to have to think. And a lot of times they have to think, how can they make something which is hard a normal difficulty, or normal difficulty to be easy? And I find that to be really, really interesting. So what we also have are 3 different kinds of actions, I guess we'll say. We've got a basic action, doesn't even require a die roll. Then we have a test. So a test is success or failure. So you're looking to meet or exceed that target number. If you meet or exceed it, you succeed. And if you don't, you fail. Then we have attempts. And attempts are what we use for combat, for disarming traps, for deciphering a secret message. So once again, you're going to have whatever modifiers you need. You're going to roll your 20-sided die. You've got your target number. And then with that target number, you also have what's known as effort. So if it's basic effort, you get to roll a 4-sided die. If, let's say it's combat, if I had a weapon, let's say a long sword, I get to roll a 6-sided die. If I have a gun, I roll an 8-sided die. And if it's magic, a 10-sided die. Now, if I roll a critical success, which is a 20, there's our 20, I get to roll my effort, and then I get to roll a 12-sided die and add those dice together. So what happens is things will have hearts. Let me go back to the monsters here. Not only monsters have hearts, player characters have hearts, different things you're attempting to do have hearts. So as an example, maybe that secret message you're trying to decrypt, maybe that's 1 heart of effort. So these hearts represent 10 points. So for a monster or player character, a heart represents 10 hit points. So we look at the Minotaur, and the Minotaur has 3 hearts. So that means it's got 30 hit points. Super easy. Also, we get, so it gets +3 to strength. So anything it's trying to achieve with strength gets +3, and they get +3 to their weapon effort. Minotaurs are pretty tough. Now, when NPCs, monsters, creatures, things like that are trying to do things to the player characters, they don't use that target number. They actually use a defense number that each of the player characters are going to have. Super easy to tabulate that. But once again, they're looking to meet or exceed that defense number on a 20-sided die. So if you were to do 30 points of effort, right, damage to this Minotaur, well, then you would kill it. So one of the things I really like about the monsters too is that the reality is monsters and creatures, NPCs, what sets them apart are their abilities. It's not their stat blocks, it's their abilities. That's really what makes them different and unique. And that's what we see with the monsters and creatures in ICRPG. Of course, there's tons of information about creating your own monsters. Something else super cool about ICRPG is the amount of page space devoted to the game master. Over half of this book is devoted to the game master, not only with these settings, and like I said, pretty detailed. This fantasy setting, all these pages here are devoted to Elfheim. Pretty wild. And it's, like I said, very interesting. It's not just your same old, just like the science fiction setting that's included here as well. The Weird West, the superhero setting, as well as the prehistoric setting, have a good amount of content that you could easily run adventures in. They're just not as in depth as you would find with the fantasy as well as the science fiction. So, something else to keep in mind, there's a really cool magic system to this. One thing that I like about ICRPG a lot is how modular this can be. You can add in things, you can take things out. So, with the magic, we've got various different kinds of magic. We've got all our different spells. And some of the spells that are included here are, our standards, your fireballs, your magic missile kind of spells. And then some spells are very, very different and unique. So, like that a lot. And you're not looking at an entire page devoted to a spell, just small little entries, very easy to wrap your head around. So, all in all, the one word that I use to sum up index card role playing is fun. This is a fun system. This is an easy system to jump into. One of the reasons why you should play it is just how easy it is to get it to the table and start playing. And if you have adventures from other role playing games, you can easily port them over to index card role playing. Now, this does have a bit of an old school vibe to it, but it is certainly not an old school Renaissance role playing game by any stretch of the imagination. I really love index card RPG. And like I said, I'm hard pressed to find another role playing game system out there that I would say is as fun and as easy to jump into for players of all experience levels. It is that good. And all the advice for the game master, hell, that's worth the price of admission alone. So there you have it. Why you should play index card role playing game from Runehammer Games and Modiphius Entertainment. It's a lot of fun. I think you will really, really enjoy it. And it makes for a perfect system to introduce newcomers to the hobby. All right, that's it for this time out. Next month, I am going to share with you why you should play Traveler's Second Edition from Mongoose Publishing. So be sure to tune in for that. All right, if you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when I upload videos such as why you should play, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Thanks a bunch for tuning in and giving a watch. And until I see you next time, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why
why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.